Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're making something really cool. Two custom brass coins with deep 3D engraves on my Haochin 80-watt fiber laser. Once they're engraved, I'll run them through a magnetic pin tumbler and then give them their final shine on this Vevor 8-inch bench buffer slash polisher. At the end, I'll show you some close-up shots of the finished coins and share the pros and cons of the machine. Plus, if you want to grab one for yourself, I've got a 5% discount code just for you. Let's get started. So first up, the design. I wanted these coins to have real depth, so I set up a 3D depth map engraving job on the fiber laser. The machine does a great job at cutting into the brass and bringing out that layered look. If you'd like more information on the full procedure to create coins like this, I have a couple videos on the channel that you can take a look at. Here's what they look like right out of the machine. You can see the detail, but the surface is still rough and dull. To smooth things out, I'm running these coins through a magnetic pin tumbler, which is also from Vevor. This step helps remove fine scratches and evens out the surface before final polishing. This type of machine has some limitations on the surface you'll achieve. At best, you can expect more of a matte finish from this tumbler. There is also a separate review of this machine on the channel if you'd like to learn more about it. Now that's much better. The engraves really pop, but we still need that polished finish. That's where the bench polisher comes in. This is the Vevor 8-inch bench buffer polisher. It's a half horsepower motor and you get two speed settings, 1725 and 3450 RPM. Having two speeds gives you the flexibility to use the machine with different size wheels with a variety of metals. I've got the cotton buffing wheels that come with the machine loaded up, and I'm using a polishing compound to bring out the shine on these brass coins. For this example, I'm only using compound on one of the wheels, and the other I'm leaving bare. I'll put a link in the description for the compound that I'm using. Always remember, safety glasses and keep a good grip on your workpiece. You can see right away that the surface starts to brighten up. The compound coats the wheel and acts like a fine sandpaper to cut into the brass, and in just a few passes, you get that professional finish. Now I do want to note that when it comes to polishing, what you begin with has a big impact on what you end up with. If you want a mirror finish, you need a pretty smooth surface to begin with. You can wet sand or use a variety of buffing compounds to cut down the surface. Don't mix compounds on your buffing wheels though. You need to dedicate a wheel to a particular grit of compound. There are also many different types and compositions of buffing wheels that will give different results. Now here's the finished result. This coin here is right out of the magnetic tumbler. This coin has been polished. It was only polished using this white compound on the wheel, and then it was kind of cleaned up or buffed with no compound on the wheel. And then this coin over here was processed first with the white and then with this red, which is a finer compound. And you'll see the results really shine when you look at the back. So we'll start with this coin, again, straight out of the magnetic tumbler. You can see still very matte finish. The front looks pretty good, but notice the edges here where it is flat. There isn't a whole lot of luster there. And of course, the detail in here, because it is textured, you're not ever going to get that, high shine on that. Very similar with this coin here on the front, everything is textured. So not a lot of luster except for around the edge here. But then if we look at the back, and I've got to wipe off some fingerprints there, you can see that just with the one compound, we were able to get nearly a mirror finish on this coin here. And then finally, this coin was kind of triple process. So we started with the white compound, then we went to the red compound, and on the back, I also used just a little bit of Mother's mag and aluminum polish and a cotton cloth. So again, not too much luster on the front just because of the texture, with the exception of the outer ring. But then let's take a look here at the back. And you can see the camera in there. This thing is highly, highly reflective. It is darn near close to a mirror finish. And that is the kind of results, that is the kind of results that you can expect with this polisher, and a little bonus if you care to go that far. But so again, quite a bit of difference. And then one last point that I did want to make that I kind of mentioned earlier, does depend on what you start with. If you have a coin like this, this has a very matte surface. This is completely unfinished, or it's not unfinished, but this is the way that it came out of the package. So you would have to spend a heck of a lot of time wearing down that surface if you ever wanted to get a mirror finish on that. But those are some pretty stellar results. All right, let's talk about the pros and cons of this machine, starting with the pros. The machine has a powerful motor with dual speeds, really versatile for metal, jewelry, or even wood pieces. This thing runs pretty smooth for a bench polisher with very minimal vibration. It's also very quiet when operating. I was actually surprised at how softly it hums. It has a very solid cast iron base with mounting holes so you can affix it to your workbench. The vibration-absorbing rubber feet really seem to work well, preventing noise and vibration from getting to your mounting surface. Now for the cons. My unit has a few fluid marks on the back, probably just lubrication oil. It's not a big deal, but it could have been cleaned up before packaging. My only other con, this unit is kind of wide. It's going to take up almost 2 feet on your workbench. Now, this is a very minor issue, and Vevor does make some smaller units if space is a concern. So that is the Vevor Bench Buffer / Polisher in action. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid machine for the price, especially if you're working with metals like brass, silver, or even woodworking projects. If you want to check it out for yourself, I've got a special link in the description, and you can save 5% with the code VEVT5. If you've got tips to share with respect to metal polishing using a machine like this, I would love to hear from you. Please drop a comment below. If you found value in this video, please take a moment to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when I drop new content. As always, I enjoy the time we get to spend here together on the channel. Let's keep on learning, burning, printing, and growing together. Take care, everyone.